Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to 8.2.6 easy path for completion of 8.2. The path I'm going to attempt is going to be Punishment Glutton, Haunted, Brutal Refresher and Bolster. Now the reason I take this path is because Bahamet will not have any extra nodes on him, so he'll be there on his base form. The path starts with the Sentry into Thor, Jane Foster with Invisible Woman and Howard the Duck and Titania along with Tigra, and then we go on to Bahamet. Now for the nodes, you have to bring in your skill attackers. Every time any damaging debuff is purified on the opponent, you get a Fury and your damage increased by 35%. With Haunted, whenever the defender will dash back, there will be a passive falter applied on the attacker, and if you do any damage to the opponent, all of that is returned. So it's more of a patient lane, but it is still an easy one. And there's Brutal Refresher, so if you knock down the defender, they gain a non-stacking Energize, and that will increase their power gain rate by 25% for 6 seconds. And the final one is Bolster, so if you use a damage over time effect that is energy, the defender will gain 90% energy resistance. So suggested counters will be your skill champions with non-energy debuffs. So quite a few of the examples are there, but there's some that are absolute monsters for this lane. So Nick Fury, Black Panther, Gwenpool and Moleman are the best ones in my opinion. For your mastery and boost, I would say if you have deep wounds, bring that in. That will really help you, and you can boost as you like. You can also use ouchies and then without ouchies, but keeping in mind that you're going to face Bahamet and you will need to use your specials, I would say go without using the ouchie masteries. And the most important thing is patience. Slow is faster. You have to keep an eye on the falter. The extra furies will shorten the fights for you. And for the boss, there are some passive immunities, and some great matchups will be champions with shrug off, so your kingpins, your Aegon, your Elsa Bloodstone, your Valkyries will work really well. For the mechanics, simply put, you have to build 3 volatility charges, wait for the blast, use a special one to gain removal, and then again wait for another blast, reflect that one, and then the armor, his celestial armor will be broken and you can hit on him. Jumping onto the path, the first part is going to be against the Sentry, and I'm going to use a rank 2 Black Panther. I am using a 20% boost, so if you guys want to use it, that would be great too. Now again, I will stress for this lane, patience is important. Don't just go in and try to intercept, wait for him to come to you. Use your 3-hit combo so he does not dex much, because whenever he will dex, he will convert all of those bleeds that are there into furies and you will get a falter. And if you try to attack him, he will attack you back and kill you off. So this is quite a patient path. So you're going to wait for him to throw his SP2 right there. And now I'm going to go back in, 3-hit combos with an SP1. Now, if you will notice, I have 10 Furies on me, and those Furies will help me kill him faster. So remember, you have to play a little bit patient. Don't ever try to intercept. Use a lot of parries and dexes whenever there is a falter, and wait for your opportunity to attack. I know it sounds a bit slow, but the furies you will gain by the damaging debuffs, that will clear up the path much faster. And if you can corner the opponent on his side of the screen, that would be amazing, because from the corner he cannot dash back, so he will never activate the Haunted. Here is another showcase of another bleed champion that has quick access to bleeds, that is going to be Moleman. Now I am just going to build up to my monster mass before I start hitting Jane Foster. Now you notice I'm just blocking, staying back. I am not going in for any kind of intercepts. I am faltered, I will go back. Not falter, I'm gonna start hitting him. Same way, whenever she will dash back, you will get a falter, so you have to wait out the falter. skin. I'm waiting out the folder. At the end of SP2, I'm going to attack her. Just like that. Now, because I had her cornered, I did an intercept because she cannot dex back and get the haunt again and falter us. So if you are able to corner the opponent, that would be amazing. But then it takes a little bit of patience. Then most of your champions can take out these defenders very easily. Next defender is going to be an invisible woman. Now she is susceptible to bleed, so make sure you bring in the bleed champion. And in this case, I'm bringing my rank 4 Nick Fury. Now he is just amazing for this path because you also get passive furies and your tactical charges, they stay with you. They do not run out of time. So if you throw an SP1, the tactical charges will stay there. So I'm gonna wait out the falter. Now going in, throwing in SP1, boom, I've got 4 tactical charges that will stay there. I typically like to build up to 8 so I don't have to worry about the miss, but be careful, do not attack when you falter, even if you can bypass miss, because all of that damage will be returned to you. So be very careful about that. You might have to do some extra parries or extra dexes to run out the falter timer, but apart from that, you're pretty fun and easy lane to deal with. Next up is going to be Venom the Duck, and I'm going to use Gwenpool as another example. She's also rank 2. I have just used a 20% boost, and all of those bleeds will easily give me those furies. Now because it's a rank 2, she will not get as much bonus damage and the fight will be a little bit slower, but eventually I am able to get the Venom Duck down. So if you have a rank 3 Gwenpool, she's also amazing for this part. Typically any damaging debuff champion that is not energy damage, for example Black Widow Deadly Origin, will not work here, because I mean you can bring the opponents down, but if you're expecting her to do a lot of damage on the specials or even on the lightning, that will not happen. So just be careful what champions you bring in, but it's still doable with those champions as well. So with Gwenpool, I'm just building up to my SP2, keeping the bleeds up, and once I have enough furies, around 8 to 10, I am able to kill off Venom the Duck much faster. Fender number 5 will be Titania. I am using my favorite champion in the game, that is Elsa Bloodstone. Now here you will notice Elsa has incinerate damage, and because of that she cannot do 100% damage to the opponents all the time, but that is required so that the damaging debuff, when it expires, I can get those furies. But then once I have those, I can just use 5-hit combos ending with light, so I can armor break / bust them, and then I can throw an SP1 on top of it to do some extra damage. The only thing with against Titania, just be careful not to get cornered because her specials can hit really hard. And yeah, it's a very straightforward fight. You can use any other skill champion that we used before. I'm just using a spectrum of them so I can show you examples that different champions can do this. The most important thing for this part is to be patient with that falter, because if you try to hurry up the path and you try to intercept, it's going to be very painful and you will die quick. So the name of the game here is to be patient. Wait for the falter to run out. Just use parries or dexes till then, and then you can go and attack. And the final defender is going to be a Tigra. Now she is very annoying. For one, she will not throw her specials. Secondly, her specials cover a lot of distance, a lot of real estate on the screen, so she can easily corner you and throw unblockable specials at you. And to make matters worse, Falter is pretty annoying together with that combo. You will notice here that I will die from Nick Fury, and then I have to come back and finish it off with Elsa, and Elsa almost died as well with one mistake. So this fight is going to be the annoying one. It might cost you 1 or 2 revives, but trust me guys, on this path, if you do this, Bahamet will be much easier to do. I'm sure there are easier paths, but the nodes make Bahamet harder. So I would again, I'm sure somebody will argue that the other path is easier. That is okay, but I would suggest highly to do this path, because that will leave no nodes up on Bahamet, and Bahamet will be just like a base fight as it is designed. So this is a highly suggested path. Tigra will be a difficult fight, might cost you 1 or 2 champions, but that's okay, or 1 or 2 revives. Just get through this one. Like here, I am just cornered and she's not throwing specials, and they're gonna kill me off with an SP3. Then I'll come back with Elsa Bloodstone to kill her off. Now Bahamet will start every fight outfitted in his own suit of corruptive celestial armor, which while active will give reduced damage from all sources by 85%. Attackers cannot gain true strike, true accuracy and true sense effects. And Bahamet's ability accuracy cannot be modified, and he can block unblockable attacks. Bahamet abilities also include immunity to poison, intimidate, power lock and special lock effects, and also he reduces the potency of power steal, drain and burn by 60%. The attacker's willpower mastery also has its potency reduced by 50%. Now once you start the fight, every 8 seconds on the timer, Bahamet will build up Gamma. If you're near the defender, that Gamma is converted into a volatility charge, and if you're away from Bahamet, that Gamma is converted into an X Gamma charge. We need more of volatility charges instead of X Gamma charges. Now, if you use a champion that can purify debuffs, you can also gain your volatility charges. Now, champions like Kingpin, Elsa Bloodstone, Valkyrie, all of these champions will work really well here. Alternatively, you can gain X Gamma charge if you try to use Nullify, Fade Steal, or Stagger on Bahamet, so your Mystic champions are a total no-go. Note that the timer is paused during special attacks by either champion. To disable the Celestial Armor and deal damage to Bahamet, you will need to gain removal charges. To gain removal charges, build up to 3 volatility charge and trigger SP1 from Bahamet. After SP1, Bahamet will trigger a radiation blast sent towards the attacker, and once you trigger a special attack into Bahamet's radiation blast, you will gain a removal charge that will also grant you unstoppable and an indestructible passive lasting 1 second till the end of the special attack, so you're protected. Removal charges will allow you to remove Bahamet's corrupted armor and deal damage to him. So when the corrupted armor is removed, for 15 seconds Bahamet takes 500% extra damage and does not gain any power from being struck, cannot auto-block special attacks, and cannot use special attacks, and will fight more aggressively. The attacker gains 50% more combat power rate as well. Starting off with the fight in phase 1, your goal is to build up volatility charges on Bahamet. Once you have 3 volatility charges, make sure that you have an SP1 at the ready. So when Bahamet will trigger an SP1 at the end of the animation, he will throw a radiation blast your way, and you can throw your special attack into it. Just there at the end of animation, there is a radiation blast coming. Be at the ready, SP1, and you will notice there is a green removal charge, and because you knocked down the opponent also, his armor is broken and you can do damage to him. So I'll repeat that again. Make sure that you have an SP1 ready when he is about to trigger his SP1 with 3 volatility charges, and you throw a special into the blast that will give you a removal charge. Now here again, he's gonna throw his special, but because he doesn't have 3 volatility charges, there's no blast at the end of it. So I'm just gonna use up my power so I can build up again. I need either an SP1 or SP2. Now he's got 3 volatility charges. I'm going to try to push him to an SP1 right there. Now wait for his trigger for an SP1. And at the end of the animation, because we have 3 charges, there's going to be radiation blast. I'm going to throw SP1 in it, and I've got a removal charge. Now this time around I wasn't able to knock him down, so I'm going to parry and then use my heavy, and that will knock down and break the armor. Now I'm going to go back in and start hitting him and bring him down to 80%. That will push him to a phase 2. Starting off with phase 2, here the HP will be between 80% to 40%, and the same applies. Remember, you will not have a removal charge, so first you have to gain a removal charge. Right here on the radiation you use a special. Now I did not have a special there, so I could not gain a removal charge, so I have to wait to build up 3 again, and then I can throw a special into it. Now here he is throwing a SP1, but he does not have 3 volatility charges, so it's still no radiation blast. So sometimes the timings will be off, but you will have to play around it. Now I am trying to just be near him when the volatility charge is expired, so I can, the gamma buildup is expired, so I can get a volatility charge. Right here is just at 3. Now if he throws a SP1, I will get that radiation blast at the end of it. I've got my special ready. There we go. Now you will notice I will get 2 removal charges in phase 2. Now to use that removal charge to remove his celestial armor, I need him to throw a blast at me again, and I need to either parry or use my heavy attack into the blast to reflect it back. Remember guys, you cannot reflect back until you don't have a removal charge. So right here, animation at the end, I'm already charging a heavy, and here I release. There we go, armor is broken and I can start doing damage to him. What I like to do is to build up to an SP3, so I can do some SP3 damage also, so I don't expire up the timer, and then just take him to a corner and spam my heavies. So remember guys, very important, you cannot return the blast back to Bahamet unless you don't have a removal charge. I've seen this question quite a bit, so just be careful about that. With phase 1, 2 and 3, you need to have a removal charge before you can use the blast to knock down Bahamet, and you can just take him down to 40% and that will trigger phase 3. So in phase 1 you get 1 removal charge. In phase 2, if you use 1 special attack in the radiation blast, you get 2 of those removal charges. So we used 1 to already knock him down. Now we're going to use the second one to knock him down and remove the armor. Right here I'm charging a heavy, release, and there he goes down, and I'll bring him down to 41% health. That will trigger phase 3. The phase 3 is a continuation of phase 2 from 40% health to 10%. The difference here is going to be that instead of radiation blast, sometimes he will throw a heat blast at you. Right here, he's just going to throw a blast. I'm going to use a special, and you will notice I get 3 of those removal charges on me. Now I need to push him again to a special, and again make him trigger a radiation blast, and again I can use a parry or heavy to knock him, to return the blast and knock him down and disable that celestial armor. So trying to trigger his special out. There we go. Now wait for his blast. Now charging a heavy and release there, and boom, that's the armor broken. Now I can go on him and attack him. 3 hit combos, swipe back again. You can get those intercepts to get as much as hits as possible, and at the end when the armor is about to expire, you can also use an SP3 to get that damage in. So you can either use an SP3 in the beginning or at the end. Just try to use an SP3 because the timer is paused and you can do quite a bit of damage to Bahamet. So the difference between phase 2 and phase 3 is that there is a chance that the radiation blast will be a heat blast and it be orange in color. Once that comes in, don't try to reflect it, just dex it out. Otherwise you get incinerate on you that does quite a bit of damage to you. Right here again, I got lucky that he's throwing only radiation blast, so I'm just flying through the phases. Usually there is an RNG involved here, either it's a heat radiation blast or it's a regular blast. I just got lucky, I got the regular blast in, and I'm able to bring him down to 10 HP, at which point the final phase, phase 4, is triggered. Remember guys, you need the removal charges before you are able to reflect any of those radiation blasts back on Bahamet. Phase 4 starts at 10% HP until Bahamet is knocked out. Now here you don't need to worry about getting a removal charge, you will have it on you. Here your focus is to use parry to return this blast like a ping pong game, as you just saw. So the whole focus here is to keep pushing Bahamet to an SP1 with 3 volatility charges so he can trigger his blast, and you can use a blast to with a parry to return it back to him. He also has auto block, so he will return it back to you. So there will be a back and forth of the blast between the two of you, and every time the blast is returned to Bahamet, the celestial armor potency is reduced. If you notice right now, the potency on the armor is only at 55%, whereas the whole fight the celestial armor was at 85. So the amount of times we bounce back the radiation blast, the potency is reduced. This is going to be a heat charge, so I just have to dex it. This can happen during the RNG. Sometimes you will get 2 or 3 heat blasts in a row. Sometimes you get a radiation blast, so that's a little part of the RNG that you have to play around with. So this next one is a regular blast, so now I'm going to parry here and go forth with the game, and look at now the celestial armor is only at its 10% potency. So already you will see I'm doing 10,000 12,000 criticals. So yes guys, that's about it. This phase is all about that. Just be wary about the heat radiation charges, and you have to, the parry takes a bit of practice for you to return the blast back and forth. Once you have that down, parry, parry, and parry, and again. And right here, look at that, his armor is down to minus 30%, so he can be killed off now quite easily. I'll be honest with you, I think this boss is much more fun and forgiving. I still feel Gwen Master was still a bit harder. So yeah, And once you have that armor down, right now he's at 30%, I can kill him off with my specials or my basic attacks, so I should be able to take him down. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video and you found it helpful. If you did, guys, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel and leave a comment down below. All of that really helps me out a lot. If you want to see more videos in this new format and you find them useful, consider buying me a coffee as well. And apart from that, guys, I am going to do all the path videos as usual and try to do some battleground stream as well in between. So stay tuned to the channel. I appreciate each and every one of you. And apart from that, guys, I hope you all have an amazing day and I'll see you next time. Bye.